that gets you up to date on the games that are underway right now in college basketball. And we'll be back in just a minute to update the other scores in sports right after we take this timeout.
Do you know which of these oils gives you the best engine protection under the toughest driving conditions, sub-zero cold or blazing heat? This one, Mobil 1. This winter, buy Mobil 1 in this easy pour container and drive away with the oil that helps you start, even at 35 below.
Let's take a look at the NBA scoreboard tonight. The Chicago Bulls playing the Bullets in Washington. And we update the score down the fourth period. Washington is up by 9, 99-91, as Chicago had led the game 57-49 at halftime, and they were leading 79-73 after 3 quarters. But Washington, playing at home, has come back down to lead it by 8. Kansas City at Detroit. In the fourth quarter of play, the Pistons are leading it by 5, 119-114. The Pistons led it by 1 at halftime at 67-66. Final score, Indiana has defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers 120-115. Indiana, by the way, was trailing by 7 points after 3 quarters of play. Boston and Philadelphia, Atlantic Division rivalry. That matchup at the Spectrum is in the fourth period, and Philadelphia 97-88 right now on top of Boston, as Philly led it by 3 at 61-58 at halftime. Those are the scores of games underway right now in the NBA. And we have a report now on George Gervin, the star of the San Antonio Spurs. It seems that George's little brother has joined him in San Antonio. George McKenzie has that story.
When they call your older brother the Iceman, you can't help but pick up some nicknames as you grow up. So Derrick Gervin got used to all the jokes about the ice cube or a chip off the old ice block. But when Derrick joined Coach Don Eddy's program at the University of Texas at San Antonio 2 years ago, other teams found nothing humorous about trying to stop the kid brother of one of the NBA's great players.
Does it bother you to be compared to your brother?
No, it's a compliment. You know, he's made his name in basketball, and to be compared to him is great. And I just hope, you know, people realize that Derrick is Derrick and George is George.
I think he understands that more so than anyone else, and he don't try to compare himself with me, and I don't try to compare myself with him. I'm 11 years older than my younger brother, so it's nothing to compare.
Well, actually, there are some things you can't help but compare. Derrick and George are about the same height, about the same weight, and both can definitely fill up the hoop.
Well, we both can score. That's about the only comparison I can really make. You know, I think I rebound a little stronger than he does, but he's better on the offense than I am.
You work with him on specific moves?
No, I don't work with him on specific moves. He has his own moves, and I think he got his basics down together, his fundamentals, and that's really the key. He got his own different style of game, and of course, you know, I have my own. So, you know, we're two different individuals. We just got the same mother.
And Derrick is after the same thing George was after when he was Derrick's age, a career in the pros. To which Ice says, hey, baby, thumbs up.
I guess you could say I'm biased because he's my brother, but he's a good basketball player, and that's what's going to get him in the pros.
It's definitely in my mind. I just, you know, hope it comes through, and if not, I have to have something else to fall back on, but of course I want to play.
When you consider that Derrick was an honorable mention All-America choice last year as a sophomore, when you consider he was 14th in the nation in scoring last year as a sophomore, and most of all when you consider his bloodlines, it's pretty easy to imagine the Gervin name being around the NBA long after the incomparable Iceman has retired.
Let's take a look at the NBA's or the NHL scoreboard. We got some games underway. Boston playing at Philadelphia in the third period. Buffalo, and Buffalo Sabres lead at 5-2 over the Bruins at this point. 3 of those 5 goals for Buffalo came in the first period. Toronto's at Pittsburgh, and this game is a 4-3 game. They're going into the third period. Each team got a goal in the second period. Mario Lemieux has gotten his 21st, the rookie for Pittsburgh. Winnipeg at Chicago is 1-1. That is in the first period of play, and those are the games that are underway right now in the National Hockey League. I'm David Sullivan. That wraps up this edition of SportsCenter Plus. Coming up next on ESPN, America's Golden Superstars in Gymnastics. And we remind you that SportsCenter comes up at 11:30 Eastern Time. I'm David Sullivan.
SportsCenter Plus has been brought to you by Mobil 1 Synthetic Motor Oil. You can't buy better engine protection.
USA Gymnastics is going out there to establish ourselves as a world power, whether the Soviets are there or not. So the Japanese are the people who we're really going out there to beat, because they took third in Budapest last year and we took fourth to them. So we're going to go out there and try and switch that order around. It actually means we each move up a space, and I really feel that the Chinese are going to walk away with the meet. I'd be very surprised if they didn't.
Certainly so many special moments of the 1984 Summer Olympics, but those evenings at Pauley Pavilion, the gymnastics competition, those were memories for a lifetime. On this look at America's Golden Heroes, we'll take a look at the men and the women of the 1984 team. We'll also take a look ahead to the future of the sport of gymnastics and a look back at the early trying days for the heroes of 1984. Mitch Gaylord really had it pegged at the top. With the Chinese and the Romanians in Los Angeles, all the American high hopes had to be tempered approaching the '84 Olympics. But once the games were over, everybody was agreed. The gymnastics and those special evenings, they were the singular highlights of the '84 games.
We know how much you love sports. So what would it take to get you to pick up the phone and order Sports Illustrated? A free trip to the World Series? Sorry. How about a discount when you subscribe? Say 10% off, 25, 35%? How about almost 50% off the cover price? That's a savings of nearly $1 on every issue. And you'll fast break into basketball right through the NBA playoffs. Plus coverage of hockey, baseball, and football. No one captures the spirit of the game better than Sports Illustrated. So why aren't you dialing? All right. What if we also include Sports Illustrated's 1985 baseball preview issue with profiles, feature stories, and predictions for every division, every team? More? How about our famous swimsuit issue that covers one of the most exciting spectator sports under the sun? Not enough? Well, are you a baseball fan? We'll take you from spring training to the heat of the pennant races. More? Okay, we'll even give you this free 1985 baseball schedule for every major league team. So, how about a final bonus? This exclusive Sports Illustrated AM/FM sound set. It's your personal hi-fi complete with headphones. So why aren't you pressing those pretty little buttons? Oh, the phone number. It's 1-800-221-3200. 30 issues of Sports Illustrated for 3 easy monthly installments of just $9.89. That's almost half off the cover price, including the baseball preview and the swimsuit issue, plus this 1985 baseball schedule and AM/FM personal hi-fi, free with your paid subscription. So now what?
I can't see the phone number.
It's 1-800-221-3200. Call now.
You know, it's hard to believe in the sense that I didn't think it would really happen. And since it did happen, I just was thrilled, and I knew the impact it would have in gymnastics in our own country. The next day, I got 2 telegrams from 2 different gymnastics schools, one in Texas and one in Florida, how they doubled their enrollment in one day. So I knew this would happen all over the country, and this is one thing that's real good for the sport. So I knew it would benefit just about every aspect of our sport.
Well, certainly all the medals and the parades and the tears. Yes, the Olympics did a great deal for the sport of gymnastics. But think back now to July of 1984 as the Olympics were upon us. The boycott at that point was an afterthought. The competition was front and center. And for the men's team, the opportunity was right in their hands, with the Chinese and the Japanese as their prime opponents in L.A. The U.S. men's team had a great opportunity to vault right near the top in international standings, but of course, they did a great deal more than that.
It truly was a team. The transplanted New Englander, Tim Daggett. Collegiate champion Mitch Gaylord, for whom routines and moves are now named. The precise and exacting Peter Vidmar, the pride of UCLA. Ageless Bart Connor, a three-time Olympian. Scott Johnson, the University of Nebraska via Ohio and Colorado. And Jim Hartung, a part of the sport since age 7. These 6 young men, coaches Abie Grossfeld and Mako Sakamoto. Together they traveled the world, learned their sport, improved, perfected, refined, and practiced. Together, this team really became a family.
Without that type of a feeling or, you know, the gelling of the team, I don't think we could have even come close to what we did. It took a super performance from everyone on almost every event to do what we did, and that's what happened. And with